Hey everyone, and welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, brought to you by Nissan. Reuben Frank and Dave Zangaro with you. Rube, how you doing?
Doing well. I survived watching the Sixers last night. It was that was not pretty.
I was mostly watching the Flyers, flipping back and forth. Neither ended well.
No, at least the Flyers were in it for most of the game.
Or you could say at least the Sixers let you know that it wasn't going to be a good night pretty early on.
There's that. Yeah, second worst playoff loss in Sixers history.
What's better from the fan perspective? Just getting to relax in the fourth quarter because you're like, it's over, or watching an overtime loss?
I think as a fan, I'd prefer the overtime loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it is it's frustrating because they were up 2-0 and they had a chance and didn't work out in the end.
Yeah. That's a tough question because they're both pretty miserable ways to end a playoff game.
A loss isn't ever good in the playoffs. And we'll see what happens with the Sixers and Flyers. Phillies on a little bit of a hot streak.
Sixers are only the second team in history to lose 3 games in a postseason by 30 or more points.
It's weird. Yeah, because normally you don't get the opportunity to keep losing.
Yeah. And Denver did it last year. Actually, they're the only other team. And they lost a game to the Lakers and then won that series and then lost 2 by 30 more to OKC. So you pretty much – you could do it all in one series. That's never happened. But, yeah, they're making history, but not the way we kind of hoped.
Not great. We have a lot of Eagles stuff to talk about.
We do.
I was at rookie camp on Friday. The Eagles had their 2-day rookie camp on Friday and Saturday. So some leftover notes from that session. And we also heard from some of the players on Thursday. So we'll go over a little bit of that. A couple of front office members got contract extensions. We want to get into that a little bit. And I have my 53-man roster projection, the first one of the 2026 season. So we'll go through that position by position. And then, of course, a bunch of questions to get to in a little bit. So a lot to get to today. Let's start with rookie camp, Rube. Always fun just to see these guys on the field for the first time.
Yeah, I guess UR was kind of the featured attraction. He was kind of off on a far field, so you didn't get a super good look at him. No close-up look at the young kid, but he was out there starting his football career. Pretty wild.
Yeah, and look, it pops. You can tell he's an athlete. You can also tell he's not a football player yet, and that's okay. But
to be expected.
Always exciting to see someone with that kind of story. It reminds me of watching Jordan Mailata back, how many years ago? 8 years ago,
2018.
At this point, just watching him kind of learn a new sport. That's what we're gonna see with UR here. So looking forward to continuing to watch him. But you can tell he's athletic. He did need help getting his helmet situated at one point, but definitely athletic.
I've had so many people ask about him more than any other draft pick. Maybe Lemon a little more, but people need to be patient. It took Jordan Mailata 3 years just to get on the field. That's a best case scenario with this kid. It's just going to take a while. He's got all the tools in his body, but
oh no,
I'm sorry I did that.
You just do the Howie thing?
I did.
He got the Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni dropped a couple of them.
He did
on Friday.
Yeah.
So now Howie's gotten to you as well.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of tools built in, and they're unique. He's got a unique athletic profile, but he's never played the game, and he's got a lot to learn. It's going to take a while.
I wonder if there is going to be a moment, though, when they're in team drills and, I don't know, he just has, one great rep and everyone goes, oh, wow, there it is.
I would guess that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he'll be getting so many reps that occasionally there's going to be one that really catches your eye.
Mm-hmm. In terms of other stuff, I have if you guys want to read the full thing, I have an observations from the very brief window. That's the big caveat for rookie camp. It's we're out there 15, 20 minutes. We're not watching them do team drills, but there's always stuff to observe. And I think sometimes body types, and in this case, getting a glimpse of Mekhi Lemon for the first time. He's not a very big guy, but he looks the part. You watch him in receiver drills and getting in and out of his cuts. He's quick, and that's good. He looks exactly like I thought he would look.
Yeah, and we're not getting to see actual plays, but you get to see warm-ups and stretch and some individual.
Now, I know you're not a big jersey number guy, but we're making a little exception here because he gets to number 9.
Yep.
He spoke with Nick Foles on the phone. Nick gave the blessing. It's kind of been a weird thing.
But did he talk to Rodney Peete?
No one has worn it since Nick Foles in 2018. So the Eagles have done this. They've kind of shadow retired numbers for a while. It's something we've talked about before. What do you make of Lemon getting the number 9?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that Nick was fine with it. Nick feels really strongly about this franchise, and I think he feels really connected to the team. I was just looking up some other people that have worn 9. Thad Lewis actually wore it in 2015 on the practice squad. I guess that doesn't count. Did he call Thad Lewis? Did Makai Lemon call Thad Lewis? Vince Young wore it. Jeff Garcia, Andy Hall. Who was the last non-quarterback to wear 9? Norm Johnson.
Okay.
Jim McMahon wore it. Rodney Pete. Joe Pisarcik. Sonny Jurgensen wore 9. I never knew that. Back in the 50s, back in the aughts. But no, I think it's cool. I think as long as it's all right with Nick, and you're right, it's like 25 isn't retired, but it's kind of retired.
There are a few of them. It's 25 with Shady, obviously. And Shady might not take it as well as Nick Foles.
No, he
honestly.
wouldn't. He wouldn't. No, you ain't taking my number.
Obviously, 62, that could be legitimately retired one day.
Yeah.
91 is like that. I'm sure there's a couple I'm missing, but.
Well, 12.
Okay.
Nobody's worn 12 since Randall. They did give it out in training camp one year. I believe Ben Brown had it. Randall's the only guy that's worn 12. I mean, he wore 12 his whole 10 years. He got here in 85, so nobody else has worn it since 84. Somebody named Bob Holly.
Wow.
But
and look, it is a strange thing. Like, it doesn't always make sense the way the Eagles handle it. I remember it took them forever to give out 87 after Brent Selleck retired. Yeah. And then, like, the year after Malcolm left, they gave out 27 to Zach McPherson. And you're going, well, wait a second. Well, not that I think any, like, I kind of don't like the shadow retirements at all. But if you're going to do it, let's try to be fair about it.
They've never hesitated to give out Mike Quick's 82. Mickey Schuler had it the next year, then Victor Bailey, Chris Jones, Carl Hankton.
I know the 17 bothers people.
Yeah. Although, if you play the way N'Kobe did.
And that's kind of so.
It took 10 years to give 17 out after Howard retired.
Okay. So
Mitch Berger, punter, was the next guy to have it.
We've talked about this, I think, before, but I like what the Cowboys do with 88. Just like you give it to your best receiver. Yeah. I like that better than retiring a number even.
Yeah.
Like, and colleges do it a bunch. A lot of colleges, like the single digits mean more, or right. I think LSU has like 18 is their like upstanding guy number. I remember that because Benny Logan wore it. But if there's
Benny Logan wore 18.
Yeah, his last year at LSU.
Interesting.
And it was like an honor. You know, it's like a scouting plus if you get that number. So I like that idea, but the Eagles haven't really done that.
Nobody's worn 18 here since John Mechie.
Think they're saving it?
Clearly.
In general, though, all the numbers, this is where you're not going to like it, but all the numbers are good numbers for rookies. Like, there's none that like look super out of place. At least the draft picks, I mean.
You think somebody will be wearing 11 this summer training camp?
No, I could see someone sliding in there before the season.
11?
Mm-hmm. But, right, I mean, think about this. Like, Makai Lemon has 9, good number. Eli Stowers, 87, great tight end number. Markel Bell, 72, solid. Cole Payton getting 10 as a rookie quarterback is great. Micah Morris, 76. Cole Wisniewski, 7th round pick, got 21 because Sidney Brown no longer here. Uar Bernard, 93. He doesn't even know it, but that's a pretty good number. And then Keyshawn James Newby with 50 left from Jalen Phillips.
93 most recently worn by Milton, Javon Hargrave, Tim Jernigan, Brandon Bear, Jason Babin, Trevor Laws, Javon Curse. Pretty storied number right there.
Hargrave wore 93?
Yeah, I think he had a couple numbers.
He was 97, wasn't he?
Yeah,
okay.
He wore both. You know who the last Eagle to wear 25 was, other than Shady? All-time great Eagle, Lorenzo Booker.
I was going to guess like Dorsey Levens or someone.
He also wore it.
Okay.
He wore 25. Yeah.
It's funny how those things just like stick in your brain.
I still think of when I see 25, I think of Anthony Toney. That's just I think of the first guy I covered wearing that jersey number.
Yeah, so Mekhi Lemon gets to number 9. He did not ask Devontae Smith for number 6. There was a video going around before the draft about, if someone had the 6, would he try to get it from them? And he said he didn't even try it with Devontae. That's Devontae's number, which is good.
Yeah.
You're the new guy. This is Devontae Smith is a Heisman Trophy winner, been in the league a long time, won a Super Bowl. He's going to keep his number.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah, so Mekhi Lemon looked the part. I'll tell you what, one of the things that stood out to me most at rookie camp was just not having Jeff Stoutland on the field. It was just bizarre watching Chris Cooper put his offensive lineman through drills. It looked really different. You know how normally the offensive linemen run over there and they line up 5 across and you see, okay, this guy's at left tackle, this guy's at right tackle. And in this case, I really wanted to see where Markel Bell was lining up. So very selfishly, I went over there just to write that down.
It's not selfishly. You're doing it for your readers.
Yeah, that's true. But gosh, they didn't do it. It was they were using medicine balls and kind of just going 2 by 2. So they never lined up 5 together, because that was a big thing with Jeff Stoutland. He lined them up 5 across and then they'd surface blocks together. Chris Cooper didn't do any of that. And it was just like jarring to see something that different.
Yeah, you could always tell. There was one thing you could tell depth chart wise when you went out to practice was who the starting linemen. So you usually knew, but if a guy was hurt, who's taking those first team reps, you would know right off the bat. Well, I'll miss that.
It looked weird. And then the medicine balls are out there and you're going, what's going on here?
It's weird. It's weird. That
it is very strange. And look, I was joking with someone. I was like, I'm out on this guy. he's no Jeff Stoutland, but we'll see how it goes. My first reaction was, man, this is weird. This is different. I don't like it. I don't like change.
First time since 2012, he's not here.
It's a pretty impressive stretch, honestly, of offensive line coaches here in Philly. Jeff Stoutland's tops them all, but Howard Mudd for a couple years, a legend, and Juan Castillo,
he was great.
Was a really good offensive line coach.
Yeah, maybe miscast a little bit as a D coordinator, although his first year was a top 10 defense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Juan was a great offensive line coach.
So that really stood out to me. Markel Bell, I wanted to get a look at him. He is super tall, might need to hit the weight room a little bit. He's like his lower half is like very skinny right now. And he's just so tall that it looks weird, but he moves pretty well. And I'm curious to see how he'll look next to like a Jordan Mailata and a Lane Johnson, because he looked really big next to these guys, but we know how large Mailata is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they try to get some weight on him, get him. I mean,
it's funny to talk about a guy who's 346 pounds.
That's what they list him at. You really think he's that much?
He's so tall. Yeah. And like, it's just a different build. Yeah. I mean, that's what I think he weighed in at the combine. So there's no fudging that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would say, like, how do I put this? Not a ton of junk in the trunk with Markel Bell.
I'm not sure you can say that on a podcast.
Can I not say that? Okay.
You said it, though.
It's something that you look for in offensive linemen, because they need to be able to anchor at this level. So curious to see.
Tom Heckard, who was GM here before Howie, used to use the phrase thick lower.
Okay. I can do that.
He doesn't have a thick lower.
Not a thick lower. So we'll see what happens with that. Got a chance to see Eli Stowers.
I love scouting lingo. Thick lower.
Joe Douglas used to use all the best scouting lingo terms. Ankle flexion. Yeah. I remember about Tano Passanio. Remember him?
Yeah.
He said he used the term body beautiful, like a guy who's like maxed out weight wise, and just would be the first guy off the bus.
Yeah.
Eli Stowers, smaller. We knew he was smaller. It shows up out there, but I did think his like upper half, like his shoulders and his arms were a little bigger than I expected. It's just like lower half, not as big.
Yeah.
That's been enough of the weird, creepy looking at body types. I'm trying to think what else was not a ton. I did keep an eye on Sean Mannion during the portion of the practice was open. He spent a lot of time with Cole Payton, who was the only quarterback in camp. So I think that's, Mannion is quarterback by trade, quarterback coach who's now an OC. He's probably going to spend a lot of time with the quarterbacks, but in this new role, he's also going to need to figure out exactly like how to split up his time a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all works with, I mean, there's a quarterbacks coach, there's a passing game coordinator, and where does Sean Mannion fit in? You don't want too many voices in Jalen's ear. And so they got to figure out a way to streamline that.
Yeah. I think that's all I had from practice. There was a bunch of tryout players, some of them veterans. I was curious to see if any of them got signed after. That didn't happen with those veterans. They did sign one guy on a tryout, Isaiah King, a linebacker, signed him to a contract. They released Tucker Large, who they initially signed as UDFA. He did not practice. He's still dealing with an injury from the bowl game. So they made a 1-for-1 swap.
Tyler Large.
Tucker
Large. Okay. And you got to see another Akers.
Yeah, I did. David Akers' son.
Sounds like he hit the ball pretty well.
Yeah, he's more of a punter. Luke Akers, more of a punter, but yeah, he was out there wearing number 2, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. If it's just a tryout for a few days and never goes anywhere, at least he'll get that number 2 jersey, I would think.
Worn proudly since David Akers by Matt Barkley, Jalen Hurts' rookie year, Slay, and Jahan Dotson most recently.
You remember Dotson's first number in Philly?
I don't.
I think it was 87.
I can look that up.
I think so.
83.
83, that's right, not 87. Gosh.
Worn more recently by Kylan Granson. And Noah Tagoa wore it.
Oh, our old buddy. Noah Tangiai, Noah Tagoa.
Josh Perkins, Marvin McNutt, Greg Lewis, Shelton Gibson, Michael Timpson, All-America long jumper, Pat Beach, Kenny Jackson, first-round pick. Anyway.
That's all I had on rookie camp, but it was good to see those guys. Just to be on the football field is exciting, especially for them, too. Like, so many of those guys were going through a college football season and then immediately, especially the draft picks, they're starting to train for the combine. And it's got to just be refreshing to worry about football again and not worry about your 40 time or, how you're going to interview. It's like all that is beyond you or behind you now. You can just go out there and play football. It's got to feel nice.
It's really interesting to me how training for the combine is a completely different thing than training for football. And I think it's a relatively new thing where guys specifically train after the season for the combine. I mean, they've always kind of done some of it, but it's like a really specialized thing now. And then you get to a rookie camp and you're kind of in combine shape. I mean, the combine was a couple of months ago, but it's a whole different thing. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys morph by training camp.
Yeah. But that was rookie camp. They won't be back on the field until May 26th. That's when OTA starts. So we'll have more on the full team practices later this month. That's all for rookie camp. I guess the newsy item since the last podcast, Dom DeSandro and John Ferrari both got contract extensions.
Yeah, Dom contract for life, most likely. It's crazy. It's really, I mean, we joke about Dom, but it's really one of the crazier stories in Eagles history, just the way he's ascended from assistant security guy to really one of Howie's most trusted advisors and a really valuable member of the front office. He's got like 3 titles now.
And the coaching staff.
And the coaching staff. Yes, he's part of the coaching staff, so he can push players on the other team around.
No, that's not what he's doing.
But yeah, so Dom gets an extension, and John Ferrari, the only remaining assistant GM for now. I'm sure there'll be another one in the coming days. Not a traditional GM, assistant GM. I think his focus is more on rules and administrative stuff than scouting and personnel. So I would expect the next assistant GM to be more of a scout, coming from the scouting side.
Yeah, I would.
And John Ferrari was in the league office for something like 7 years, I think, 09 to 16 or something like that. And he's great at that stuff, rule stuff, interpretations, dealing with refs, penalties, all that stuff. But yeah, I would expect a more traditional assistant GM. And I think that's probably, I mean, he probably won't you won't see him interview for GM jobs because that's not really his background.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. He's to me, he seems like a liaison to the league, to refs, but he's really good at that and really organized with it. And whenever he has to present something to everyone, they come away pretty impressed. At least that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of his role. And then, Dom, who is senior advisor to the general manager, chief security officer, and game day coaching operations.
Longest title in franchise history.
Mm-hmm. But he's a really valuable member of the organization, and he's become like some weird Philly folk hero in recent years. Which, could you ever think that was going to happen? That Dom would be like,
No.
everyone, people asking for Dom's autograph and photos. He's like more popular than a lot of the players now.
Yeah, I mean, at training camp, you see him get asked for more autographs than half the players, no doubt.
He's handled it really well, honestly.
He has.
Because that's not an easy thing to all of a sudden be, a public figure and have to deal with that, especially when he's been doing that job for so long. But he's handled it really well.
Yeah.
All right, so those are those two. Look, the Eagles have lost some people this offseason. Alec Hallaby left. Bryce Johnston got poached by Atlanta. Jeff Scott got poached by Atlanta. So at least a couple of important pieces are staying. We'll probably hear more about some shuffling in the coming days. But the one thing I'll give Howie credit for is that he always seems to have a pretty deep bench. He's ready for this when he loses talented people in the front office. And it's always funny because, like, are they going to miss Alec Hallaby? Yeah, of course they are. He was really good. And then I feel like sometimes you try to express that. People go, well, they're going to be fine. It's like, yeah, they might be fine, but they're also going to miss him.
Right. And whoever replaces him will be someone that worked with him and understands his strengths and what made him so good at what he does. And you're right. I mean, Howie has this pipeline because they've really become like an employment agency for NFL front offices. I mean, every year, one or two top guys leave for another team because, like you said the other day, I mean, this cap, you're not going to be GM here. You could work 20 years at a high level. You're never going to get that promotion because Howie ain't going anywhere ever, maybe in 50 years. So if you want to move up, you're going to have to go somewhere else. And that's why so many people leave. And they're just highly valued because of the success the Eagles have had and the success Howie has. I think league-wide people know if you hire one of Howie's guys, you're getting a good exec.
I guess, but it has been a while since someone just got hired away as a GM.
Yeah, what were we saying? It was 2019, right?
Well, I guess
Joe was 2019, and then
Andrew Berry.
Was.
But he was only here for 1 year.
That was 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and like with their success since then, it's kind of surprising it hasn't happened more often. And I thought Hallaby was going to be the guy. They clearly tried to help him do that. He became more available to the media. I think they were trying to push him forward to get a job elsewhere, and it just never happened. And I don't really know why.
More available to the media means he talked to us once, right?
Yes. Well, once a year.
For them, that's, yeah.
Well, they make like secondary football operations. They have to be available. So they make them available like a week before the start of the season.
Yeah. But I mean, they're going to keep, Howie's going to keep hiring people and moving them up through the pipeline and they'll take over. And the fact that there hasn't been any drop off in the team's success tells you that he's doing that process really, really well. And
part of me wonders if people just look at it and go, well, it's Howie doing it. Like other teams, they're like, well, it's just Howie doing it. We're not going to hire his underlings because Howie's the reason. But it's weird that it happens with coaching all the time. You hire the guy who coached with, typically Sean McVay or like Shanahan or like one, you know what I mean? Like you hire that guy. Why not hire people who worked under Howie?
I think before he was demoted in 15, I don't think that was the case. Like I think since he came back after Chip was fired, I think he's been more collaborative and involved the other guys more and kind of prepared them more. So I think that's a big part of his reinvention. And he's talked about that. He wants that to be part of his legacy. He wants like a coaching tree, but for front offices. And he has one. I mean, you think about around the league,
all the people who have worked here. Now, some of it was like early in his time where it was like, was it him? Was it Andy? But like, look across the NFL, and there's a lot of general managers who have been in Philadelphia.
I mean, you start with Brett Veach, who was how we hired him, I guess, after Joe Banner left, hired him as an intern.
Yeah.
And now obviously has won 3. I'm not sure. I guess 2 of the Super Bowls are his in KC. I don't think all 3 are. But drafted Patrick Mahomes, or was in the front office when they did. And he gives Howie a ton of credit for his career. So, but yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Spytech is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch. We don't have to go through all the names, but they've done a good job there.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to go through my 53-man roster, offense and defense, and see where you think I got it right and where I got it wrong.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today.
We're back on the Eagle Eye Podcast, brought to you by Nissan, Reuben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. Rube, I did my first 53-man roster projection. It's early, but we get through the draft. I always put out the first one. So we'll go through it position by position.
Let's do it.
All right. So quarterback, for now, I have them keeping 4. We'll see what happens here. I think there's a very good chance that eventually Howie will trade Tanner McKee or Andy Dalton. But for now, I have them keeping all 4: Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, Andy Dalton, and Cole Payton.
Yeah, I think Cole Payton's going to make the team. Just because he's such a unique talent. I think they'll find ways to use his running ability. And I think that's a big reason they drafted him.
That was something I left out of rookie minicamp observations. It's just weird seeing a lefty quarterback on the field. It's been a while.
Yeah. Kenny Gainwell's the last one.
Well, the last guy to throw a pass, yes.
Complete a pass. Probably throw a pass. Anyway. Yeah, Michael Vick's the last real one.
Do you think that Tanner or Andy get moved?
I think there's a chance, but if I had to guess, I would say no.
Oh, really? So you go over 50%?
That these 4 make the team. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I do think there is a chance.
Which one do you think is more likely to get traded? Tanner McKee or Andy Dalton?
Probably Tanner.
Okay. He would get more, he would bring more back, but I'm also thinking if there's like an injury and a team needs someone they feel like they can just plug and play for a month or so, Andy Dalton might be not a better option, but might be the more likely option at
Maybe
that point.
A safer option, but
yeah.
If I was a GM, I'd rather have Tanner starting those 4 games, I think, than 100-year-old Andy Dalton.
I guess. But I do like that Andy Dalton's on the team, by the way. I haven't mentioned this because without Brandon Graham, if he's not back, and we'll see if he's back, and this is something that only I care about. So you can fast forward here 30 seconds.
How can I do that?
You get to just cover your ears for 30 seconds. I like when there's a player older than me on the roster. BG is older than me by 10 days, so I needed him to stick around. But if Andy Dalton stays this year, I'm still in the clear.
Was he 38?
Andy Dalton, I believe so. Yeah.
Wonder who the last player is who was older than me.
Andy Dalton is 38. He was born October 87. Yeah. I was born April 88.
Okay. So you got a little window there.
Yeah. So keep him around, Howie. Thank you.
Okay. What's next?
Running back. I have them keeping 3. Saquon Barkley, Tank Bigsby, and Will Shipley. That means they cut Dameon Pierce and Carson Steele.
Yeah. So same guys as last year. I think it's a safe bet.
Now, could they keep 4 and keep Dameon Pierce around? Well, remember last year they also had A.J. Dillon, so they did have 4 on the roster.
And why do his people keep emailing me about – you keep getting emails from his management?
No, about what?
About, like, interview opportunities with A.J. Dillon?
No. How many times have you talked to him?
No. I talked to him last year a couple times. But, yeah, I think Tank's not going anywhere. Will's not going anywhere. 4th-round pick 2 years ago. So I think most likely to keep 3, especially if 4 quarterbacks. It's going to be – you're going to have to –
yeah, you got to figure it out somewhere.
Go thin a little somewhere.
Okay, so if they keep 4, maybe Dameon Pierce?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what he has in training camp. He had a great start to his NFL career, and since then has not really gone very well.
Yeah.
At receiver, I had them keeping 6. Devontae Smith, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Darius Cooper, and Johnny Wilson. You'll notice no A.J. Brown on this roster. If you look, we don't want to make this about A.J. Brown. If you think he's going to be here, fine. I do not right now, so no A.J. Brown. I also have them cutting Elijah Moore, Britton Covey, Quez Watkins, and Danny Gray.
Yeah, receiver's going to be interesting.
The top 3 are locks.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks.
Yep.
I would think Hollywood Brown's pretty close to it.
I would think he's the next guy.
Yeah.
Covey's got that punt return ability. He's pretty good at it.
And
Quez has that speed element. We haven't seen it in a few years, but there's something they clearly like about Quez because kept him around on the practice squad all last year. And they seem to like Darius Cooper. Johnny Wilson's got that height and blocking ability. So it's an interesting group.
And Wilson's coming off missing last season, a serious injury. So we have to see if he's healthy, if he's the same guy. But before he got hurt last year in training camp, I thought he was a roster lock.
Danny Gray's guy has been in the league. He's played in the league.
Do you agree with the Johnny Wilson take from last year? Before he got hurt, he was a roster lock?
Yes.
Okay. Would these be...
I wouldn't say that's the case anymore.
No, definitely not anymore.
Yeah.
Would these be the guys you'd keep?
Yeah, I think... So you kept those 3 plus... So you kept Devontae, Mekhi, Wicks, and then who?
Hollywood Brown, Darius Cooper, and Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, I think there's a chance Covey makes it over Wilson, but I think that's unlikely.
He could. Maybe they look at Darius Cooper as that blocking guy and they say it's a little redundant with Johnny Wilson. But I also don't know if Britton Covey's getting poached. I think you can probably start the season with him on the practice squad. You can bring him up if you need him.
And Cooper is a good blocker.
He's a good blocker. He's not Johnny Wilson. He's not 6'6", 230, but he's a pretty good blocker.
Physical guy, yeah.
And then Elijah Moore, we didn't mention. He was a guy who was a really high pick not that long ago, but right now I don't see the spot for him. Maybe he can outperform Darius Cooper in training camp. Maybe he looks better than Hollywood Brown. I think that seems unlikely right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, tight end. I have them keeping, I'll call it 4. Dallas Goedert, Eli Stowers, Johnny Munt, and Cameron Latu, that's why I said I call it 4 because Latu is technically a tight end. I see him more as a fullback, lead blocker type option.
If he's wearing 36, he's a fullback, right? Not really a tight end, 36. You're the one who's into numbers, numerology.
I mean, they list him as a tight end.
Yeah, I know they do, but I don't really. He's not going to catch any passes. Oh, he caught a bunch in college.
Fullbacks catch passes.
Yeah, but he's not going to catch passes wherever you line him up. That's just not what he's going to be here. It's not why he's going to be here. He'll be here for blocking. But I'm iffy on Latu. Calcaterra has been around a while.
Yeah, I have. So the cuts I have: Grant Calcaterra, Stone Smart, E.J. Jenkins, and Daquan Wright.
And Jenkins has been around for a couple of years, but Calcaterra is an interesting one to me. He was a draft pick. Had a bigger role 2 years ago when Dallas was hurt, but I think he's eminently expendable. Well,
the reason I have Calcaterra as odd man out is because they drafted Eli Stowers, who is kind of a pass catching only tight end. And if that's what Calcaterra is, I just think it's redundant. And I don't know why you would need Calcaterra if you have now Stowers on the roster.
And it's a 2nd-round pick versus a 6th-round pick. So that's an easy call.
Oh, well, yeah, like Stowers is obviously going to be on the roster.
I'm not saying, he's going to get cut. I'm just saying when you look at the position, there's no reason for Calcaterra to be here. I don't think there's really a reason for him to be here last year, but that's just me.
Is Johnny Munt definitely on the roster?
I wouldn't say definitely. I think it's a pretty good chance. I mean,
31 years old.
Yeah.
Blocker, knows the offense. I
And
think they want to have a diversified tight end room.
Yeah, but I mean, he's, some of these older guys, you see him in training camp, are like, he just doesn't have it anymore. And there's always a chance when a guy gets into his 30s. So we'll see.
So those 4, do you agree, disagree?
I'm going to say no, Latu.
So just the 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Latu also, we should mention, big-time special teams contributor. So
very good. Yeah.
There's that. Offensive line, I kept 10, which is a big number. The 10 that I kept: Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, Lane Johnson.
So 5 starters.
There's your 5 starters. And then 5 backups: Fred Johnson, Markel Bell, Drew Kendall, Miles Hinton, and Micah Morris. So the cuts: Cameron Williams, Willie Lampkin, Jaden Roberts, Jake Majors, John Ojukwu.
They love that Jake Majors. Hate to see Willie Lampkin go.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And, it came down to, do they keep Miles Hinton or Cameron Williams? I don't know. That could be a fun training camp battle between 2 6th-round offensive tackles from last year.
2 big dudes. They're not both going to make it, but
they could.
It's possible, but that would get a little tricky. I mean, you could get one of them. You could probably get either one on the practice squad, so keep them around.
I think the locks are the 5 starters: Fred Johnson and Markel Bell and Drew Kendall. I'll say Drew Kendall is a lock. So you really have 8 locks.
I think Micah Morris is, if he has a good camp, or just even a okay camp, I'm going to say he's a lock, but they just have no depth at guard.
It depends on how you see Drew Kendall.
Yeah, I'm just not sure he's a guard.
I think Kendall's probably their top interior backup right now.
They might just see him as a center.
Well, they repped him at guard last year.
A little bit. I think I would put Micah Morris on my roster.
So would you have 9 or 10?
I'd have 10.
And then the last one: Hinton, Cameron Williams, Willie Lampkin, Jaden Roberts, Jake Majors, John Ojukwu.
It'd be one of the young tackles. I don't know. I'll go Cameron Williams.
Okay, so Cameron Williams or Miles Hinton.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to. Yeah, which I think it could be that. I kept Hinton. He was drafted a little bit higher. That's kind of the reason. And I also thought he had a better training camp last summer than Cameron Williams, but
they both did some good things.
Ago.
They both did some good things at times.
Yeah. All right, that's offense. Let's flip to defense. Defensive tackle: Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Moro Ojomo, Byron Young, and Ty Robinson. So the cuts here: Uar Bernard, Gabe Hall, Taquan Graham.
Makes sense.
Now with Uar, I don't think anyone really expects him to play this year. Could they keep him through the first, cuts? Could they keep him through the cut down day and then stash him? Maybe. I think someone's going to tell him to get an ankle injury in August.
I'm sure they would love to do that. You got to be careful with that these days. It's not like it used to be. You could just stash anybody with a fake injury.
Everyone's banged up though.
Yeah. I think they would love to do that. Get him hurt, get him on IR. And that's what they did with Jordan Mailata. He had that terrible back injury.
Well, they did keep him on the roster, Mailata.
Wasn't he on IR those 2 years?
Yeah, but I think he made it through final cuts that year, didn't he?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which could happen with Uar, but right now I have those 5. Do you agree with those 5? Obviously, the top 3 are our locks: Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Moro Ojomo. I kept Byron Young. I thought he was fine last year, did some good things. And I kept Ty Robinson, who was maybe a little disappointing 4th-round pick last year, but was buried on the depth chart.
I think there's a chance he doesn't make it. You hate to cut a 4th-round pick the 2 years after you draft him or a year later. But I'm just not sure where he fits in or if he fits in. I think Byron Young's a big reason why. I think he played really well.
So if they were to cut Ty Robinson, is it Uar taking that spot? Is it Gabe Hall, who also made the initial 53 last year?
I mean, they like Gabe Hall more than Ty Robinson, it seems. So, yeah, I'll go with Gabe Hall.
Okay. What do you think about Uar?
I think they get him hurt. And I think Ty Robinson ends up on the practice squad.
Interesting. I think Robinson's going to be on the team. I don't think they'll part ways with a 4th-round pick that soon.
Yeah.
And I don't think him not playing last year was all about him. I think it was just about the guys ahead of him.
But they're still ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But you need depth.
yeah, but if he's on a practice squad, he's still here. I don't think he's going to get claimed. Maybe he would, but I don't think so. Based on what?
Being a 4th-round pick.
Maybe.
Edge rusher, Jonathan Grenard, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Arnold Ebiketie, and Brandon Graham. I put Brandon Graham on my roster. I don't know if he's coming back. He wants to come back. I think the Eagles should be open to that. I think he can still help them.
I do too. I mean, he helped him last year. He averaged 12 snaps a game and had 3 sacks. I mean, he was really good in that limited role. It might be even less this year. It might be 8 to 10 snaps, but I'd certainly bring him back.
So the cuts, I have Keyshawn James Newby, the 7th-round pick, Joe Tryon Shoyinka, Jose Ramirez, and Joshua Weru.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
Now, James Newby, I feel bad cutting him because we haven't even really seen him yet. And I feel like it's unfair to be like, and I've done this and I've caught myself doing it. Well, they drafted Antoine Powell-Ryland last year in the 7th round, undersized edge rusher, hyphenated last name. Like
I know the similarities are crazy.
There's so many similarities. It's unfair to James Newby to be like, he's not going to make the team. He could be really good in training camp. He could make this roster. He could be a depth piece. He could be a special teams player, and he'll get that chance in training camp.
Yeah, but I still think he's a long shot to make it.
Okay. Linebacker, I kept 4. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Smile Mondin.
Yeah, I think that's your 4.
Could they keep 5?
It's possible. Like a guy like Deontay Lawson is a guy who I could see making the team as a special teamer and a depth piece at linebacker.
And he's someone who I've kind of tabbed as one of the undrafted rookies to really watch because of the position, because they don't have a ton of depth there, and because linebacker is a spot. We've seen it before. You think back to TJ Edwards in 2019. Like, it is a position where you have some experience in college. You have great instincts. Maybe you're not a next level athlete like some of the guys who got drafted, but you can contribute, especially if you're a special teamer. I think Deontay Lawson is someone to watch. Also, Chance Campbell. Keep an eye on that guy. He was on the practice squad last year, was one of the favorites of the scout team. All of his offensive teammates really talked him up. He could be someone that spends a year on the practice squad and then makes the team. That would not shock me if Chance Campbell was on the 53.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I thought about putting him on just to have a curveball on here. I might do it later on.
Yeah, I like that. That's I do think he's got a shot. There's a reason they kept him around all year.
All right, cornerback. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Reek Woolen, Jonathan Jones, Mac McWilliams, Keely Ringo. I kept 6. The cuts, Jacorian Bennett, Ambry Thomas, Tariq Castro-Fields, Brandon Johnson, Kapina Gushikin, which I think I'm pronouncing incorrectly. We looked that up last week.
Who's Kapina Bushkin?
Gushikin. He's the undrafted kid.
Oh, yeah. Gushikin.
Kapena.
I'm not as convinced as you are that Keely will be back. I get what you're saying. He has experience at corner. He's a depth piece. He's a really good special teamer. I think they might just want to move on from him and have somebody who's a little more reliable as a corner in that role. Because I think you can find a cornerback who's a good special teamer.
Sure.
And it could be Ambry Thomas.
Oh, really?
It could be any of these guys.
Okay. I thought you were singling him out.
No, I mean, that's just an example. I mean, we've never seen these guys. I don't think it'll be Bennett.
Are you not? I'm still a little intrigued by Bennett. But he got here so late last year. He'll have a full spring. He'll have a full summer. I think there's some talent in there.
Could be. I mean, he'll get the chance. He's still here. He'll get a training camp, and we'll see.
So let's go through the guys I picked. The top 3 locks, we agree: Quinyon, Cooper, Reek. Jonathan Jones, I think they brought him here for a reason. I know he's 32. Unless he just gets out of camp and can't play anymore, I think he's going to be on the roster. What do you think about Mac McWilliams?
I think there's a good chance. He was a 5.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance he's here.
Vic really seemed to like him last summer.
Yeah, he did speak highly of him.
And then if they keep 6, I think it could be Keely. Or maybe they try to trade him like they did for Sidney Brown.
Yeah, my gut feeling is Keeley won't be here.
Think they can get something for him?
No, I think they're gonna. I mean, if it is, it's going to be, conditional 7. But I
remember, this is a team that once traded Matt Pryor.
I get that. It's just my hunch is that he won't be here and they won't get anything for him.
Okay.
And you got Michael Carter as a safety?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So the safeties, I have 4: Drew Makuba, Marcus Epps, Michael Carter, and Cole Wisniewski. They could add someone, certainly, at this position. But for now, those are the 4 I kept. Andre Sam, JT Gray, Tucker Large at this point was on the roster, so I had them cutting him, and Maximus Pulley.
What a great name that is. Maximus Pulley. I don't think Wiz is a lock. And
I don't know if you can give a guy a nickname and then say he's not a lock.
I think JT Gray is such a good special teamer that he might have some value. They might want to keep him instead of Wisniewski. You can get Wisniewski out of the practice squad, 7th round pick. They've never had a player on their 53-man who's ever gotten in a game named Cole, first name Cole, and now they have 2 of them who might make the team.
Interesting.
They had Trent Cole and Nick Cole was their center one year.
I remember
years. But yeah, I think JT Gray's got a shot.
Okay.
Just because that he's got a rare special teams ability. He's been a special teams Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he's been very good. So we'll see about that. And Cole Wisniewski, though, I think could fill that role.
He could. I think it's going to come down to who's better on special teams.
And then specialists, I have them playing this game, keeping Jake Elliott and Braden Mann, cutting Rocco Underwood, who was the long snapper, and then bringing him back whenever.
When you play a game.
Yeah. Think they'll do that?
Yeah, why not?
It's been a good way to get an extra roster spot.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to do it with Rick Lovato, who won a couple Super Bowls here, you're probably willing to do it with an undrafted rookie out of Florida.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get claimed.
No.
If he does, you go get another long snapper.
Any big disagreements with my 53?
Big disagreements? I mean, I do think I would put JT Gray ahead of Cole Wisniewski. That's what I mean. That's I think Latu's not a lock. Yeah, I mean, there's a few I would disagree with, but I think for the most part, you're right on.
And remember, we have not even seen an OTA practice yet, so subject to change.
Yes.
Want to get to some emails?
Yes.
If you have a question for us, eagleeye@nbcuni.com. We have the QR code.
Or you can just call Dave. Here's his cell.
Please don't do that.
609.
Yeah, the
571. All right.
The 609 is correct.
Is it?
People can have that. The rest of it, no. All right. Let's go through these. First one is from Drew. Hey, fellas, Drew from Massachusetts here. Lifelong Birds fan, and I've loved the podcast for years now. My question is for Dave. I'm wondering if he has anyone in mind for his Surviving Camp series. I think Uar Bernard is the standout choice, but wondering what Dave is cooking. Thanks for the coverage, guys. Go Birds. We got a few about Surviving Camp, which is my series. If you don't know, I do every training camp, just kind of a running diary with one rookie, typically a late round pick. And yeah, I thought about Uar. I haven't really gotten a chance to meet him yet, though. So I'd like to do that before deciding.
Yeah. And your guys have a pretty good track record of making the team.
They do.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like why I picked them, but
it's a selling point when you approach guys like all these guys always make the team.
Well, the fun thing is the series started in 2018 with Jordan Mailata.
Right.
So yeah, having another international guy would be a lot of fun, but I think there are some other intriguing ones. Like having a quarterback would be pretty cool.
He would be great.
And so I thought about that last year with Kyle McCord, but then I figured he's also a local guy, so he would have a lot on his plate. So I've got to think through it.
Should have gone to Lenape.
I got to think through that a little bit. I think Cole Wisniewski will be a good one.
Yeah, I do too.
So yeah, I have some options this year. The Eagles help me out.
And I also think Uar might be just so overwhelmed. It might be just too much on his plate.
Maybe. But so that was the coolest part about the Jordan Mailata one. And it's probably why it's my favorite one, is because week to week, there was so much growth. Whereas these other guys, not that there's not growth, they're learning all the time, but I kind of remember saying Jordan Mailata was like seeing a newborn baby. Like every time you see them, they're like doing all these new things because a week is a lot of time when you're that young. That's what it felt like with Mailata back then. I bet it would feel similar with Uar this year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
It's a fun series, though.
Next one is from Lou. Dave Rube, can you explain the 53-man rules as it pertains to the IPP players, Bernard and Weru? I understand they're not included in the 90 players invited to camp, but what about the 53-man roster? If they are waived and signed to the practice squad, do they count in the 16-player practice squad? And then there's another question for you, Rube. How would your 2027 first-round mock differ if the Eagles had New England's first-round selection?
I'd have to look at that a little more carefully. I just don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if they get a 1, it's going to be in 28.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah. I haven't done my 28 mock yet. Work on it now.
As far as the IPP rules, yeah, like if you're on the 53, you're on the 53. There's you don't got an extra player on your roster. Now, you would get a 17th player on the practice squad,
right,
for one of those guys. And you also only get one on the 90-man roster. So they can have 91 players. They can't have 92. It's not like they can get an international exemption for both of those guys.
Right.
But Weru is someone who, like, we shouldn't lose sight of him. He was considered to be the second best player in that crop. There's nothing to say that he's going to not work out. But he can work out better than Uar Bernard just because he didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
Uar was a 7th-round pick. By the way, did you see the? I think there might be a question in here about this, but I'll spoil it now because it came to my mind too. The NFL released some footage from the Cowboys draft room when the Eagles called. And Howie was already asking for a 7th-round pick this year. He ended up getting a 7th next year, but he already wanted that 7th-round pick, presumably for Uar Bernard, which is even funnier now.
It is. No, I haven't seen that, but that sounds like Howie.
He was like on a mission all draft weekend to get a 7th-round
He was.
He trades up for Mekhi Lemon, tries to get the 7th. He trades for Jonathan Grenard, and he gets the 7th. I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, from Marty. It's never too soon for a 53-man roster projection, and I enjoyed Dave's recent article. Like many fans, I root for the late round or undrafted guys, hoping Howie has found another gem. Beyond Darius Cooper, my current underdog is Willie Lampkin, the undersized center who didn't make Dave's 53. The Eagles angered the Rams by claiming him, not a trivial cost of goodwill. Analysts say he has the traits: leverage advantage due to compact frame, elite footwork and balance, high football IQ and hand usage, scheme fit, particularly strong in zone-heavy offenses where quickness and angles matter more than mass. Am I dreaming to imagine him as a stylistic heir to Kelsey?
Yeah, that's a little much. I wouldn't go there, but I mean, we didn't see him last year because I guess he was on IR all year. We never saw him at all, just in the locker room.
Yeah, well, when they claimed him, he was hurt.
When they claimed him, he was hurt.
Which is typically like teams, when they waive you with an injury designation, most teams kind of back off.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked to him that first day, and he was around. Nice kid. He's so small. And he had a great training camp. I mean, great preseason last year. He played really well for the Rams. Covey loved him. They were teammates out there. But I think he's a long shot. I mean, I
like a Willie Lampkin, though. You don't have to sell me on Willie Lampkin.
I mean, it's going to be fun to watch him in camp
mm-hmm.
because he's just different than any other interior lineman we've ever seen.
And even without Jeff Stoughton, they have a lot of developmental players.
They do.
They drafted another one, and you could even say they drafted 2, depending on where Markel Bell is. Like, he's a little farther along, but Michael Morris, 6th-round pick, super tools. He didn't play a lot in college, just really 1 year as a starter.
I wouldn't call a 3rd-round pick developmental. I mean, they might need to develop him, but I kind of think of that as you want a 3rd-round pick to play. I'm not sure where he's going to play, but.
Well, you have, I guess on top of that, you have Miles Hinton, you have Cameron Williams, and you have Willie Lampkin. So you do have a lot of these guys who, could they make the roster? Yeah. Could they be on the practice squad? Yeah. And either way, I think the Eagles are going to want to keep them and try to make something out of them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Next one is from Khalil. Hey, Dave and Mr. Reuben. I'm really interested in how this receiver room is shaping up. I think Darius Cooper has a strong chance to be the 4th option in the offense and make the roster again this year. It feels like a big opportunity for him to take the next step. At the same time, I'm not sure I see us moving forward with Johnny Wilson. There's been some inconsistency with which raises some question about his long-term fit. I also wonder if Hollywood Brown could be a potential cut, similar to how Devin White was handled in the 2024 season. Just wanted to share my thoughts and get your perspective on how you see this group playing out.
I'm going to sneeze. And I don't want to forget, when we're talking about these developmental linemen, Holland Pierce, another guy who's been around.
Yeah, Holland Pierce, New Jersey kid from Rutgers.
Another big dude. Trenton, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Hollywood Brown's getting cut. I mean, we got to see these guys. We haven't seen them yet, so it's really hard to kind of know exactly where everyone is in their career and what they're going to look like. Elijah Moore might come in and have a great camp, might find himself ahead of Hollywood Brown. So we just got to see these guys before we can kind of predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, but to the point, it wouldn't shock me to see, if they had to keep Darius Cooper or Johnny Wilson, they kept Darius Cooper. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I think they really liked Cooper. Now, they have added a bunch of receivers. Part of that is probably A.J. Brown based, but the other part of it is how he talked about wanting to have better depth there. So maybe, even though we thought they loved Darius Cooper, maybe they're not just sure about him yet, which I think is fair given that he's a second-year UDFA.
Yeah, and he played a little bit, but not enough to really have a sense of where he is. So it's big summer for him. I like the kid, though.
Next one is from Liam, and we'll wrap it up here. I'm writing from the balmy coast of New Zealand's South Island, where I'm currently on day 3 of a 4-day trek in the mountains of Abel Tasman National Park, but I'm still keeping up with the Eagles draft as much as possible. I wanted to get your thoughts.
So the dude's out trekking in the mountains of New Zealand, and he just decides, I'm just going to stop and send Dave and Rube an email.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to get your thoughts on something. Do you think Howie's going for offensive skill players like Mekhi Lemon and Eli Stowers with our first 2 picks, signaling that he is operating with a win-now approach? It feels like he might be trying to load up on more offensive weapons to make a Super Bowl push this year or next before the cap situation tightens. I was expecting more structural draft picks like offensive line depth or maybe help at safety. So these picks caught me off guard. It makes me wonder if he's prioritizing an immediate run over some longer-term roster needs because he thinks our window to win Super Bowls might be closing soon. Curious to see how you guys interpret it.
I don't think Howie thinks like that. Can I ask you a question about hiking? Like I think of trekking as kind of like mountainous hiking, but without the climbing. Is that kind of what trekking is?
No.
It's just like...
So I would use he has a 4-day trek. I think a trek is like a multi-day.
But it's
hike.
But it's a hike without the climbing, right? A trek. If you're trekking, you're not actually doing the climbing. You're not climbing mountains. You're hiking on trails that could be in the mountains.
Like mountain passes in the way of a trek. I've done treks where there's like a mountain pass that I have to cross.
Okay. All right. I'm going to need an interpretation of that.
I just gave you one.
No, from someone else. Someone who agrees with me. Exactly.
That's what it is.
But yeah, I don't think Howie really thinks like that in the draft. I think the last thing Howie thinks is that our window's closing. He just isn't wired that way.
And the position part of it, I think he would have drafted an offensive lineman if it was, Caden Proctor there at 20. I think it was just more about the individual player and the value with that individual player.
Think you would have taken Proctor if Proctor and Lemon were both there?
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
There's no way to know. That's just me guessing.
We can ask.
we could ask. Right?
When he's in a good mood.
Yeah. What would you guess there?
I would guess Lemon.
Really?
Yeah. But it's just a guess.
Okay. Yeah, no way to know. But I think he would have been totally open to an offensive lineman there. I think the receiver just happened to be where the value was.
Yeah, no question.
And then non-Eagles note, Dave, have you ever been to New Zealand? It's packed with hikes and incredible coastlines. If it's not already on your list, it should be. Thanks for the Eagles news for all of us Philadelphia expats. I've never been to New Zealand. It is on my list. It's one of those places that's a little tough for me to get to because ideally I'd like to go in their summer. We're a little busy normally.
Yeah, I hope you have the opportunity to go. It looks beautiful just from what I've seen. You haven't been to Australia or anywhere in that down under?
No, I need that continent.
Yeah. You go to work on that. Go book a trip
Okay.
by week, maybe. And by the way, we're going to get the schedule next week. It looks like.
Maybe not. We'll see. There's a chance that I've read that it could be delayed a little bit. So.
Okay.
But schedule this month.
Schedule's always a fun day.
If you have a question for us, eagleeyed.nbcuni.com. We'll leave that QR code on the screen for another few seconds so you can scan that and send us a question that way. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, you already know what to do if you've gotten this far, but actually do it. If you've never done it, do it. Rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, click the like button and subscribe there as well. Leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate that. Rube, any final thoughts today?
A beautiful day out. By the time people see this, it probably won't be. It'll probably be evening or cold or snowing. But get outside, go for a trek, go for a run.
How was your weekend? I know you were at the, what was it called?
Sing Us Home Festival in Venice Island, Manioc. I emceed. It was an amazing few days of music and community. It's a great festival put on by Dave Hawes and his brother Tim and their manager Alex. It's a really fun few days. Saw the Menzingers, saw some great music. It was Tim Hogue, Ted Leo, this woman, Jenny.
Any relation to Matt Leo?
No relation to Ted Leo.
Check.
But I had a good chat with Ted Leo because I've always read that he was a big fan of this band from the 80s called Game Theory that I love. And he did a cover with Amy Mann of a song by them called
Any relation to Brady? Sorry.
Amy Mann. Till Tuesday, hush, hush, keep it down now. Voices Carry, that's Amy Mann. So they did a cover of a Game Theory song. So it's the first time I met him and I got to talk to him about our mutual love of the band Game Theory from Davis, California in the 80s and 90s. So that was really cool. Awesome. I guess he's been a really public champion of this band that a lot of people don't really know about.
Well, that's fun. I'm glad you had a good weekend. Hope everyone else did as well. This has been Eagle Eye, presented by Nissan. For Reuben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. We'll talk to you soon.